Kia ora everybody, buongiorno, ni hao, talofa, and welcome to Talkback Fridays. We're going to bring on the sensational Michelle in just a moment, but I just wanted to say a special welcome, and while we're awaiting our guest, Dan, I just wanted to acknowledge it's been a very rough week for New Zealand, and I hope everyone is coping okay and feeling stronger now that the meltdown is kind of over. Yeah, that was a big week, and it's been quite full on with all the world news taking its toll as well. So tonight we invite you to join the chat. Click the link if you want to ask a question to Dan or Michelle, get their advice. We're going to be talking about not politics tonight. That's Bomber's territory. We're going to be talking about fitness and extreme health and fitness and how to get that way if you're so inclined. But yeah, it's going to be a very uplifting chat, and Dan is very motivational, a lot of positive things to say. Yeah, so let's bring in the beautiful and stunning and wonderful Michelle.
What an intro. Hey Selena, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, it's lovely to see you. You just told me you had a couple of symptoms. Which is not
I
too
know,
good.
it's not looking good. I might have the Rona. No, I've got a few sniffles and feel a little bit under the weather, but I think it's a whole kind of collective thing for me at the moment. You know, like you were saying,
Yes.
like sort of drama on in the world, and obviously Wellington, and the virus ain't going away anytime soon. So I'm excited to be positive tonight and obviously be uplifted by Dan. So that's really cool.
Yeah, he's quite a unique character. I think some of these amazing, dedicated professionals, they're in mint condition. I wonder how is that actually possible? But they are very dedicated, and they know things that other people don't know. Oh, your guest is here, so let's find out all about what his expertise is, and just invite everyone to please just chat away, give us some comments, call in.
With us. It'll be nice.
Yeah, and remember our website is talkback.nz. So leave you guys to it.
Thanks, Selena. Alrighty, so there he is. Hey Dan,
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I was just saying to Selena, I've got a few sniffles. I'm like, I don't think it's a Rona, but I'm kind of like.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I'm flying to Bali tomorrow night, and I had my PCR test this morning, so I'm hoping by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning that I'm clear to go.
Oh, so, you've had your test obviously because it's like 48 hours, isn't it?
Yeah. So I had the test this morning, and then find out tomorrow morning.
Oh, should be all good. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm super excited to obviously have a bit of a chat about who you are. Obviously, you're so well known in the industry, and judging by my comments on my stories, everyone's like, "Who is this tank?" Take the compliment.
Thank you.
So yeah, I guess I just wanted to touch base on, a little bit about your background, who you are. Obviously you're a coach, a fitness ambassador and representative, WBFF champ. Are you still a builder?
So I'm a bricklayer by trade, but I've recently just finished doing that, and then moving into coaching full time.
Wicked. Yeah, well, I guess you take it away, kind of have a little bit of a flex, don't mind the pun.
Okay.
And just kind of explain to the audience kind of who you are and
All right. So my name's Dan Mazzola. I'm a WBFF Muscle Model Pro, which is, I guess for those that don't know, you describe it as kind of like Victoria's Secret for the female side, not for myself. But it's more like a fashion combined with bodybuilding together. So I've been competing for a number of years. I originally started in the IFBB in New Zealand, where I was a national champion, won multiple titles, and then I made the transition to WBFF as I found it was something that it attracted me a little bit more. I like the vibe of it better. It was a bit more enjoyable. People much more friendly. And so the first show I did there, after making this transition, I turned pro. I did my first pro show in America, where I didn't place quite as high as I'd liked. It was a big step up in competition. But after that show, I came back, did another pro show in Australia, and I won a pro show there. And from there, I went on to compete in the Worlds, and I got 7th in the world in the Bahamas in 2019.
That's incredible. I know, like, obviously seeing all your photos and stuff, it's pretty amazing what you've achieved. And because you're a director now, aren't you, of WBFF?
Yes. So I fell in love with it that much. I went to all these glamorous events in the Bahamas and the Gold Coast and LA and Miami, all over the world. And I just felt like New Zealand had to have it. I wanted everyone else to experience what I was experiencing. So I had a chat with the owner of the WBFF in America. And then I partnered up with my friend, Jake Campus. And then we decided to bring it here in New Zealand. The first year was 2019, which ended up being the biggest bodybuilding show in New Zealand history on our very first show.
Wow.
So it was a huge achievement. But unfortunately, we couldn't follow up with that success. Obviously, with the next show, COVID hit, and we had to postpone the show, and then the next year after that. So it's been a bit of a halt on all competitions around the world, particularly here in New Zealand. So, but we're looking forward to getting back into it.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, like coming from an events background and entertainment, same thing. Like anything kind of more than 100 people, it's never going to happen. And I guess it's just taken a toll on business in general. Obviously, you were talking about the glitz and the glam of events and things like that you get to attend, which is amazing. But obviously, it takes a toll when it comes to, people don't realize the hard work and resilience it actually takes to do what you are on stage doing. People just think you go up there, kind of strut your stuff. But it's not that, is it? It's a lot of hard work. And
it is. It's probably one of the most difficult things a lot of people would do in their lives. For a lot of people, it's a bucket list thing, and they might do it once, just because it is so strenuous on the mind and the body. It's all about discipline and dieting, obviously, counting calories and making sure, weighing your meals every single day. It is very, you've just got to have an eye for detail, and you have to keep your eye on the ball on every single thing you do. And it's not like a regular sport, even if you'd call it a sport, where you can, take a few days off here. It's every hour of the day you're watching what you eat. You're got your training and schedule, your sleep. It takes a lot of dedication, but it comes with great reward, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. Like coming from a dancing background, I studied at the School of Dance in town and progressed to professional dance in Auckland. That's why I moved up. But yeah, I don't think people understand the amount of hard work and dedication it takes, as well as, like you said, making sure that you're watching what you're eating, training consistently. Obviously, we see your stories every so often on your social media to make sure that you're putting in the work, because I admire it a lot, because sometimes even at dance school, I was like, you know what, I feel like a double cheeseburger combo, like steam bun, no gherkin. But, like, it's just like, I guess, with calorie deficits and your plans and stuff, that isn't even an option for you, is it?
I mean, you can be flexible, and it depends on what time of the year, and if you've got a show coming up. So for myself, being a professional, I don't compete as often as I would as an amateur, because there's less opportunities, and obviously the costs. Being a pro, I can only compete overseas, so I'm having to fly to the Bahamas or America, or so, these are big expenses to do these shows, and you don't make really any money at all doing it. So it's purely a passion. But yeah, you've just got to be, everything has to be in line, but for a normal show for myself, like, I would diet for probably 4 months of the year just to get ready for that one show. And that's 4 months of doing your cardio and getting your meals in, getting your sleep, getting everything in aligned. And it generally tapers. It gets harder and harder as you get to the finish line. Obviously, as your body fat decreases, your energy levels get low. You're really pushing your body beyond. It's not healthy when you're getting to those low body fat levels. But to have the discipline, it's certainly taught me a lot about myself. Especially being, a teenager, growing up like most Kiwis, out drinking. I was playing rugby, and just that kind of culture. But just to put it down for a moment and try it, and that's how my addiction.
Really, naturally maybe like take it off a bit because you were dedicated to that goal, right?
Yeah. Well, I found for me, like during high school and stuff, I was a pretty good sportsman, but I hated training. Like training was, I like to turn up on game day, play, and I enjoy that aspect of it. The training of it was, I hated it. So I never gave it 100%, but I always knew I had the ability to be good at it or great at it. And I began training after injuries. I couldn't play rugby any longer. And I thought, a lot of people were telling me in the gym, Dan, you should compete. I thought, you know what? I've never actually truly given something 100% ever in my life. The training and everything, always just half-assed it. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to make it a goal for this next 20 weeks that I'm going to give it 100% every single day. And let's just see what the result is. And after that,
you're winning everything.
The first show I ever did as an amateur, I won every single category. I was just like, wow, I was really blown away. When you actually give 100% to something, the results that you can achieve.
Yeah, following on from that obviously, like, is it a genetic thing that you're kind of just built with a good frame, or would you say you can train to get to those kind of levels?
Obviously genetics plays a role, but it depends at what level. Like any sport, the 1%ers, they are genetic elite with a mindset to go with it. So once you get to those top tier levels, genetics plays a big role. But I think up till you get to about professional, even in professional, I think most people can get to that level if they dedicate their time to it. I've been in the gym for nearly 20 years now. So, I don't have the best genetics in the world, but I still probably have better genetics than, half the population. So, but it's the time, it's the time you put into it,
Yeah, for real. Because obviously you, like I was saying in the intro, you're really well known in your community, in your industry. What made you kind of want to get into the coaching side of things and obviously inspiring a huge group of people to obviously follow in your steps?
Well, like I said, after giving 100% to something and I realized what I was capable of, I think so many people miss that in their lives is they don't know what it's like to give that effort. But when they do, they realize what they're capable of, and to try to unlock that spirit within someone to help them achieve something that they thought maybe they could never do, and actually open their eyes and be like, hey, I did that. Actually, that's quite easy. I can go further now. You know what I mean? And they can get to that dream position, maybe that dream body, or fit into that dress that they want. Is very achievable for everyone, but they just need to be taught the mindset and the skills to go with it to get to that point. And so that's my passion. I just love that to give my experience to others.
Yeah, cool. Because I used to personal train. This would have been in 2000 and I'm trying to remember, a few moons ago. At Body Tech Gym, actually, it just closed recently. It was in the news. It was real sad. Like the founders there are amazing, and it was such a good part of my life because it kind of related to dancing. So I did that for 3 or 4 years, and that was one of my main things that I loved. It's obviously motivating and inspiring others to obviously want more for themselves, and kind of as they start seeing the progression and the results come through. Yeah, that was really, that was fun. So whereabouts do you train? Like, whereabouts do you coach people? Are you super booked out? Because so many people have said to me, oh my God, I'd love to be able to, get back into my training. But obviously you kind of probably train people that are at a certain level at the moment, or?
Not necessarily. So the majority of my training is based online. Purely just geographically, I can't, train everyone in one place. I do special one-on-one training every now and then, but mostly that's for posing and stuff. But I'd coach from one end of the spectrum to the other, from the mum has just had given birth and wants to get back in shape, to the bodybuilder in the middle, to I've coached nutrition for Super 15 players as well. But to be honest, the majority of my clients are gen population. Just a guy that wants to lose a bit of a beer gut, or a girl who wants to get in shape. And they're generally the easiest clients to work with as well. Bodybuilders can be a bit of a pain in the butt.
Leading on from that, I was just going to say, like I'll try and relate it to like dancing. Like I think a lot of people kind of see you center stage and, you know, you're doing your thing, and obviously similar to you, obviously going on and, you know, presenting your body with poses and things. Do you think that, because a lot of people look at those kind of sports and dancing as quite like egotistical or vain, how would you kind of explain your experience with that? Because obviously it's a great feeling being on stage and obviously doing what you love, performing, if you related it to dancing. But, you know, what do you think about that in your sport?
It's certainly a mixed bag. There is the stereotypical, you know, ego-driven narcissist like there is in any industry. But in saying that, I've met some of the most amazing people, you know, my best friends now for life.
Cool.
So I think, to be honest, it's the same as any industry that you'd work in. You're going to get the good and the bad. I think, you know, in the fitness industry, obviously it leans towards that egotistical type personality, because these people are overconfident. They flash in front of the camera and, you know, all eyes on me. But at the same time, like how I was talking about how it built myself up and my confidence within, you know, getting to these goals. A lot of people are in just that same boat, and this is kind of just what's led them there. And it's enjoying that journey. It's not necessarily all about me. You know, for me to jump back on stage is I'm only doing it to get better than the last version of myself.
100%.
You know, so I can keep continuing pushing.
Yeah. I kind of feel like with the dancing, it's like a celebration of obviously all the work that you put in, right? And obviously you're showcasing the absolute most that you've given, for 4 months of your life that you've dedicated to this one goal. Yeah. Which is memorable.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what I say at the shows, you know, I stand in front of everyone and say, like, this is your day just to show off your achievements and what you've accomplished. You know, all your family and friends that have sit there while they're at the pub and you've turned them down and you're sat at home with your chicken and broccoli. And they're kind of like, mate, come on, come have a drink. And you're like, no, I'm going to do this. And they don't understand it at the time.
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand it at the time, but then they come to the show and they watch it. Like, oh my God, that's so awesome. I'm so proud of you. And then the next thing you know, they're asking you for advice, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Like, how would you, like you said, I mean, obviously it's a lot of control and discipline. How do you control your mind? Because obviously it's not just you anymore. If you're coaching, you know, there's a lot of people that, like personally, when I was personal training, you know, you'd see someone and you'd set them goals and obviously take all their measurements and things like that. And then you can see that how sometimes you want something for somebody, but if they don't want it for themselves, it can be quite frustrating. Like, how do you keep your mind right for yourself as well as your clients?
For myself, I'm just like anyone else. Like, I love food. I love sweets. I love a burger. For me, I think the most important thing for anyone is setting a goal. You know, you've got to have something to work towards. Otherwise, it's just so easy to just let things dissipate, and you know, you have all the best intentions, but there's nothing for you there to actually work towards. But when you have like a date in mind for something, maybe you're getting in shape for a wedding, or you know, you want to do a photo shoot, or you have a show coming up, or whatever it may be. Maybe you're a boxer and you need to make weight. It's having that goal and sharing that goal with others, I believe, is like one of the best ways to really help you push, because then you become accountable to everyone else. When you're solely relying on yourself for motivation, it's very easy to slip out of place and go eat some KFC or whatever it may be. But without a doubt, it is the hardest part of it, is just the mindset of having that discipline. And just getting in that rhythm. I believe once you're in that rhythm, and particularly with like eating junk food, you know, I find I can pig out during an off season. I'll eat all the chocolate in the world. But once I cut it out after about 3 weeks, and those 3 weeks is like an addiction, trying to get that sugar out of your system. But after 3 weeks, I start feeling really good. And then all of a sudden, I'm not actually thinking about that sugar anymore. It's only once it's reintroduced that I start craving it again. So it's just getting past those really hard spots, and then the progress starts rolling on, you know?
Yep, definitely. I'm just having a look quickly at some that I'm getting sent through my phone. I don't know why they can't comment on the on the actual thing, so I don't have to leave a look. What are they asking? What would be, I mean, obviously most people's main goal isn't necessarily to go on stage and do a WBFF competition, but more kind of general body fat loss. What would be, you know, a quick kind of statement that could help people get in shape? Is it mostly cardio? Like, what would you suggest is the best form of training, really?
I mean, training aside, the the most important thing you can do is look at your diet. Like, I can get in shape for a show without doing any cardio whatsoever, just by manipulating the food I eat. So, getting in shape, I would say 80 to 90% of it is just watching what you eat, portion control, and just trying to learn a little bit. You only have to jump on YouTube and search, how do calories work, and get a basic understanding of, carbs, protein, and fats. And then you start looking on the back of your labels, like actually looking at what's in those foods, some things that you think might be healthy actually have a ton of fat in it. So you're consuming huge amounts of calories. And people just don't have a basic understanding of that. Unfortunately, they don't really teach it in schools these days. Well, they never have, which kind of perplexes me. Well, they just have the old pyramid scheme, the pyramid table. It's like breads and pies.
That's so old school. I remember that, the fat at the top.
So, of course, cardio and stuff is going to help, but the biggest results you're going to get is just looking at what you're eating, reducing portion sizes, eating good quality proteins. Protein's a big one. A lot of people undereat protein, and then they'll overeat carbs or fats, which are going to contain more calories, and it's not going to be as beneficial to your body. But then obviously on top of that, just getting out, exercising, doing something every day, whether it's just taking the dog for a walk, or, you don't have to be in the gym training, just anything, just getting off the couch and just reducing what you eat.
For sure. I mean, obviously, like I've actually been super lazy since 2019, really. Like, don't really go to the gym much. But having Milo, my dog, Husky, I feel like that helps me a lot, making sure I could take her out, and it kind of gets me up for refreshed, not on my computer. Do you still have Ragnar?
So this is really sad, but I given him away this week. Yeah, because I'm moving overseas, going to Bali and then going to America. I can't take him with me. So it's been a very, very hard week. Yeah. But he was my best.
Sorry, I touched on that.
I know.
Not bad.
That's right.
Jeepers. I mean, obviously with COVID and stuff, has it affected your business? Like, how has it affected you? Because obviously hospitality and entertainment and events have stopped, but has it held you back in any way or form? Or like you said, mostly you work online, right?
Yeah. So I was still working in the construction industry as well as working online, which I've since moved away from. So I was lucky enough that I still had work within construction that I could do during COVID. But I definitely felt during the COVID period, a lot of my clients dropped off. A lot of them are losing motivation, or they simply don't have the equipment to do anything, So we would step back some of their training, and it would all be just nutrition based and just walking every day rather than, going to the gym and doing weights. But they've all come back, and I think a lot of people will come out of it, especially in New Zealand anyway. We had the 2 lockdowns, right? The first one, I became a victim to it as well, where I just sat on the couch and I did nothing. I didn't achieve anything during that time. I renovated my house, but physically I became a worse version of myself coming out of COVID, the first one. So the second time I said to myself, you know what, I'm not going to sit on the couch like I did and waste 2 or 3 months, whatever it was, and getting out of shape. So I made a goal for myself at the start of COVID. Okay, when I come out of this, I want to be in great shape. And I ended up losing like 5 kilos or something, just walking every day with Ragnar, It's simple things like that. You have this time and people take it for granted and let it pass them by when they could really be doing, and it's only something so little as maybe going for a 40-minute walk. If you've got the entire day at home and you're not working, 40 minutes is nothing. It's going to help kill the time, and also you're going to feel better and look better.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. Like, I've been working mostly from home since 2020, pretty much, on my laptop, unless I'm going to an event and stuff. And there are no excuses. You don't have any set kind of time. So it's kind of like you just have to, like, for me, mentally setting a date, setting a specific time on when I'm taking Milo and just getting into that rhythm. It's like once you start, that's a pinnacle. I think, is it a month, or is it, or maybe it's 3 months until you get that.
I think, 90 days is usually the time to build a habit. Yeah. And that's the thing, is like so many people are daunted by taking that first step, because that is the hardest step. But once you make that, you're like, oh, it's not so bad. Or maybe you're like, oh, geez, that was really hard, but wow, I actually feel really good from that. That feeling you get from exercising, releases those endorphins and you actually feel better, but it's just building that pattern, building that routine and trying to do it every day. And, for people out there that might be struggling with it, the best thing I always suggest is just find a partner, whether it's your partner at home, your girlfriend or boyfriend, or a friend, that you can do it together, and then you become accountable to each other. So you're not going to want to let the other one down by, I'm going to stay in bed today, or you're making up an excuse. You know what I mean?
It keeps you accountable, right?
That's it.
So so someone's asked, what do you think of ketogenic diets?
Yep. So the ketogenic diet, I think, is pretty effective. Depends on why you're wanting to do it, because it is a very hard diet to adhere to, because obviously you're removing all your carbs. So if you like sweets, things like that, it's going to be quite a hard diet to sustain. You might not be able to stay in that ketosis state. But in terms of the actual dietary benefits, is really good. It reduces a lot of inflammation. There's a lot of studies coming out that's really good for all forms of health and disease. So ketogenic diet on its own, I think, is a great diet, but not for someone that tends to get off the diet a lot, because it is hard to stick to.
Yeah. All right. I hope that answered your question, Oliver. Another person kind of said, obviously working from home since the pandemic's hit, what are some good kind of, basic home exercises to do? Which is obviously safe, because I know a lot of people, you set them a certain home workout and then they're doing real dodgy form, and you're just like, what are you doing? You're going to throw your back out. What is some easy kind of, 3 or 4 exercises potentially that could help people?
So some easy exercises you could do without weights, obviously. Just doing jumping, burpees, push-ups, sit-ups, walking lunges, anything or stepping up on the couch onto a chair, up and down. Just doing those basic kind of movements is going to get the heart rate going. And that's all you really need to do, is just elevate the heart rate, and you're going to burn some calories.
Would you say maybe between 30 and 45 minutes of that, or?
Yeah, for sure. I would, if you're not using heavy weights, then you want to do it more like a HIIT style training. So when you're doing bursts of 60 seconds on, 60 seconds on. So you're getting short rest periods, but we're continually working. So we're just getting a little bit to get our heart rate down and then elevate it again. That's definitely the best for just body weight workout.
Cool. Because obviously also a lot of my friends work in gyms, and obviously that wasn't a go for ages, and people had to specifically book in to get into gyms. So I think that's kind of the goal at the moment. But is there anything else you kind of want to touch base on? When is your next event? What can we go follow you on Instagram and kind of follow your journey for motivation?
Yep. And so my Instagram's @Maz_Dan. So currently I hopefully jump on a plane to Bali tomorrow, or hopefully we get through, dodge all the bullets. And then so once I get to Bali, I'm actually going to be preparing for my next show, which will be in the Bahamas in June. And then from there, I'll be staying in the States, and then I'll be preparing for the Worlds, which will be in Las Vegas, which is in August. And this time, since I've stepped away from the tools within construction, I'm going to be documenting everything. So you'll really get to see firsthand what actually goes into preparing for a show like this. But not only that, I'll be sharing, a lot of dietary tips, workout tips where it comes to form and how to do exercises correctly. Often do questionnaires and stuff like that. So if you ever have questions, you can ask them on there, or you can DM me directly, and I'll always answer any questions that you may have.
Cool. Thank you so much, Dan, for tonight. And obviously, I wish you the best of luck specifically for tomorrow, so you can make sure you get over to Bali. And I'll be watching you avidly, making sure that you smash the Bahamas and, the USA and stuff. But I guess just travel safe, all the best. And thank you so much for jumping on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed the show tonight. I'm trying to hold in my sniffles.
You take care.
Yeah,
that was really interesting. You had a lot of good tips there. So a lot about mindset. Mindset. Sure, just doing something every day. I've found it's helped me. Just do a little bit every day. So
I think
it's really inspiring.
People don't realize that it's kind of the physical side of things actually affect the mental side. It's when you do a physical workout, you mentally feel so good. And I think especially now being stuck at home with all the, all the dramas around the world, it's something that you can kind of control to make yourself feel a little bit more in control and positive.
Yes, it's a good combat mechanism for stress, because there's a lot of stress in people's lives, a lot of responsibilities and pressures. So yeah, if we can learn how to combat that and then train our minds to not fall back into bad habits and stuff. So I mean, yeah, that was a really good, honest conversation, and I think you shared some really cool stuff. So yeah, who have you got next week?
So I'm thinking about either Ricky Cave, who's in real estate, or
Yep.
Dominic Bowden. And we all know who Dominic Bowden is, TV personality, radio. Yeah, so
he's a big deal. Yeah, cool.
He is a big deal, so that's exciting. And hopefully I feel better next week, so I'm not sniffing in between.
No, you're awesome. Thanks for your time, Michelle, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Friday. Bye. Okay, guys. So talkback.nz is our website. We're going to publish the audio. We publish the audio the next day after the live show. We're also running a little donation campaign, so if you could please check that out. If you want this show to keep going, we'd really appreciate a little bit of support. It's buymeacoffee.com/talkbacknz. And yeah, if you like this and you like what we're doing and you want to see more and you want us to expand and just keep growing, then we would really appreciate your support. And thank you for listening. Thank you to the regulars, and welcome new and awesome people to come and contribute. So I think that's it for tonight. So we are going to bid you a fine farewell. Have a beautiful weekend. And la 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 la. I've got a lot of graphics here. It's so much fun. Okay, you take care and lots of love from us. Bye.